All right, guys. Welcome back to Shield Wardens, our Shattered Lands game, session 23. The players last we left off had returned from the Oracle with some boons. They've went back to the capital, seeking further information or some inkling of others who may have been to the surface world other than themselves. They went to the Lion's Den to see if they knew anything there. The Goliath barkeeper informed them of a individual that went by the name of Zero, who had claimed to have, fought some demons and known something about this island that keeps being mentioned that had descended down and created like a bridgehead in the mists somewhere in the northeast. However, they're still in pursuit of more knowledge. Randy got a little tipsy during that event and went to try to see his ex, who pushed the levitating form across the street into the neighbor's room, where he was able to wake up and kind of walk to shame without any of the benefits back to the barracks in the morning. So I think we will be probably picking back up somewhere there in the morning, as Randy is padding into the barracks amongst the temple grounds there for the Shield Wardens.
Yeah, just gonna walk on quiet, head over to my bed and check on Gary real quick. Make sure that my store of food was left underneath the bed with him. Realized from the smell under the bed that yes, and I should have left out a litter tray as well. Did not think it through. Yeah. Is everyone asleep?
Standing behind Randy, his Pios comes out of the shadows. Where have you been?
Hi. Morning. Carousing. It's a totally legitimate thing for a bard to do, and I do it very well.
Wanting to start exercising in the morning? I can help you with that.
I think I'd rather have splintered balsa wood slammed against my retinas. But thank you. Right. It's not about hanging and spending time with you. It's the concept of exercise at any time, let alone right now, when really I'd rather go to sleep or eat something very greasy.
It is the best time to do stealth exercises. That is when the bakers and the early shopkeepers move about.
Interesting. So what you're saying is I could pretend to do exercise, but really it's just me going on a shop to get some baked goods.
It is about getting those baked goods under the cover of shadows. And Pius reaches in his knapsack and pulls out a fresh loaf of bread.
Yes, guy. Are you sharing with the group?
I have one for each of y'all. It was a prosperous morning.
I try not to think about how this poor baker has been taken literally every day that Pius is home. And it tastes lovely. Oi, Lucius, wake up, mate.
5 more minutes.
I don't think... No, I'm up. If I'm up, everyone's got to be up. There's no way that other people are sleeping longer than I am. Unacceptable. Get up.
Fine, you're loud anyways.
How dare you, sir? I just want to forget this sly. We go over to Billy, and I just, put, the bread near him, near his nose. I'm like, oh, fresh bread. Fresh bread. And with his eyes still closed, I'm going to then turn around very slowly and fart right into his face. Morning. Fresh bread.
I just sit up out of my bed like I liked it better when you were taller.
I realize as you're sitting up in bed, you're still taller than I am at that particular moment. I'm like, oh, there it is. Good old neck tension. How I missed you. All right.
So, as I'm wiping the sleep from my eyes, what's the plan for the day?
I had some ideas on that, actually, to be fair. I wrote them down somewhere. Yeah, oh, here we go. Item 1. Buy a ship. All right. Item 2. Demons are north, but where? Island. So many. Question mark, question mark. Item 3. I need a drink. Item 4. Forget 3. I think that was something else. Compass. There's a picture of a compass. So we need to find a compass.
I can help with that. He'll go to his pocket and give you the compass.
Yes, we need one like that. Okay, so everyone keep your eyes out, and we'll look for a... Okay, I may still be drunk.
We could always steal a ship instead of buy one.
Does the baker have a ship?
Baker does not have a ship. The docks have ships.
Or
You
we
would
can
go
talk to Tadosha
on my
one.
rounds. You would know these things.
Seems like a lot of work, though. I don't know. I tell you what, if you do it for me, tell me if it was any good, okay?
Pius just unloads the rest of the loaves of bread. These are for everyone.
Inside,
Thank you, Pius.
Randy is so secretly, inwardly ecstatic. This is the very first time that he's managed to outstare Pios. Beautiful. He just moves on with his day. Like, this is the best day for him. He's a halfling. Everything's amazing. Oh, number 5. Go to the guilds. Get some hirelings.
Hirelings.
Yes, father called them. Soldiers for whom you pay a wage.
Okay. I think between us, we have a few groups that we could at least talk to.
Maybe we do that, and perhaps we also think about getting in contact with Zero and seeing if they know anyone. Maybe they got a team of traveled veteran demon hunters.
But we are not going after this Zero in the ways of destruction. We are getting advice from him.
That's the one.
Maybe we should hold off on getting our armies together beforehand and talk to this Zero and see what he has to say.
Okay, that kind of makes sense.
Then we can just devise a plan on what kind of armies we need.
Yeah. Okay, let's go. Do you know where he would be? Did we manage to detail the living quarters of 1-0?
The bartender just mentioned that someone had come through, a stranger that he didn't really know, and had mentioned something kind of not even like he's offering it up normally freely, but like one of the bartender's contacts was chatting him up and was able to kind of extract some story out of him. But it was pretty guarded. So bartender did not give you any information as to Zero's location, and probably would be tough for him to ascertain such.
Yeah, I imagine it would be.
Unless they're a regular, you probably would figure that he wouldn't know the living situations of many of the people passing through this capital.
Yeah. Okay, if we don't know where Zero is, let's think. If we were new in town and we were staying and we went to that particular pub, what's the nearest, cheapest place to that? Would I know that? Would I know a spot where we might go to potentially?
So you're looking for the nearest, cheapest what to that?
Oh, tavern or B&B.
I mean, I'd assume you probably would know something about the various other taverns that would be in the area.
Okay. In which case, I might head over there Should we perhaps head over to... Are you giving me the option to choose a spot? Like a name?
Yeah, I mean, you're more than welcome to pick something out.
Let's go hang out at Madame Fasciitis's house. She provides room and board for wayward travelers.
As you guys are kind of in the barracks, you start to hear the sounds of kind of a commotion. Definitely like the whole royal kind of courtyard here, as like the palace and the temple kind of share a general grounds here, with some different access points and guards leading into the different sections. But you definitely are sharing a main dock system. You start to hear kind of like the sounds of like people waking up, but like all of a sudden, like people are getting excited about something, and you hear the sounds of people moving through the hallways and like heading outside.
Okay.
In particular, Hendrix and Pios, who have the best passive perceptions around.
What is going on out there? Can I
What's
go
going on?
to the door and just open the door? And is there anybody in the hallway?
Yeah, you would see there are various servants in that like kind of temple white garb that they often wear, kind of rushing around, kind of in excited.
I'll call one. You there? What's the commotion? What?
There's a ship coming, looking to dock here at the Royal Docks. A strange flag on it. I mean, they say it's strange. It's I don't know. It's like the Hellat flag, but they say it's a different color. They're not sure what that all means.
I'll
Do I know what that means?
out the window to do a lap by of this boat, so we can at least see what the flag is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, you're welcome
Shut
to
the door
look.
enough.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah. They quickly rush off. Like the minute you're kind of no longer giving them the "I need information from you" vibe.
Talk to me, man.
I turn. There seems to be a ship docking at the Royal Docks.
Okay.
Flag
At the Royal Docks.
though. I've just sent Daisy to do a lap round so I could maybe draw it.
That'd be cool.
Yeah. Looking through Daisy's eyes, you would see the symbol of so there's a red flag waving from this ship, and the ship isn't huge. It's fairly small. She's able to see there are like 4 like sailors running around on the docks, someone manning the helm, and like 3 others that are just like not on the docks, on the deck of the ship as it approaches. There seems to be 2 of your own nation's warships kind of like flanking it, just kind of making sure that it is heading in safely and not causing any disturbance. And you see one well-dressed gentleman in like a long collarless like coat sort of thing, buttoned up high, with white hair, a little like trimmed and well kept goatee. Give me a perception check for Daisy. And while you do that, there is a flag that's flying up top. It is on a red banner, and it's got a sword pointing straight down with tree branches that are coming off of it. However, these
6, less than a 10 for the perception.
So you see these tree branches coming off of like the top of the sword, like the sword's used as the trunk of it. And it has what looks like kind of like dead tree branches, though. Like they don't have any leaves on them at all.
I'm verbalizing this as I'm finding this out.
Do I recognize what he's describing?
I was going to say, anyone who wants can give me a history check to see what they would know of the Hellat flag.
Oh boy, 19.
Nice. I rolled a 5.
Yeah, 12 for me.
I mean, Pios, you would probably know that the normal flag coloration of Hellat would be like a kind of like a tan or like lightish yellow, sort of in that range. Not normally a red one. Randy, you would know that normally that tree itself that's depicted on the flag is a full body tree. Like it has all its leaves. And in fact, as you think about it, it's very familiar to that of the emblem that Sigranus wears.
Right, I was thinking with that drop down before, yeah.
But this particular one has the similar shape, at least the way Hendrix is describing it. It just doesn't have any leaves on its branches.
Right. Correct. Good. With my knowledge and my upbringing, that doesn't trigger any heraldry knowledge of other islands, of kings or queens or anything like that.
No, it wouldn't. It's just something very strange because your nations are very strict usually about their heraldry, their banners, their icons. They take a lot of pride.
Okay. So what I'm hearing you say is there's a ship approaching our island, which I do not recognize the owner of at all. That is flanked on either side by 2 warships. And it's coming onto the royal dock right now.
Yes. And it's getting pretty close from what Hendrix is telling you. Like he's probably within 100 yards or so of pulling in for the dock. So it's a slow, and the Daisy would see the warships kind of peel off a little bit, but they're still maintaining a close proximity in such a way to just...
Did the warships come from us and come out to escort it in?
Yes. Yeah, they are your warships. They belong to Vassos.
Okay. I was like thinking we're being invaded and we're just chilling out.
No.
Okay. It's in hand then.
Yeah. So essentially there's a singular ship that was coming in requesting a royal audience and is then being escorted by warships, either out of stature of privilege or make sure you're not causing issues. You're not sure which, but
Hendrix, do you see which direction the ship was coming from?
No, I've just seen it come into the dock. Like,
yeah, it's tough at this point because any ship would have had to remaneuver to make the approach.
Yeah. Okay.
maybe find the lady, our lady.
Or maybe we go down to the dockmaster and we take a look at that manifest.
I'm sure we'll meet whoever it is getting off the boat that way.
Yeah, maybe we can. You see that herald though? You described it. Didn't that look to you like Sigranus's herald?
Not yeah, but it looks like it's dying.
Right. So Sigranus told us what his people went through, right? And how they got split to the winds, and some of them got chased down, and some of them didn't. I wonder if we're looking at Sigranus's long-lost cousin. You know what I mean?
Or someone at least using a form of their banner.
Well, I mean, that's cheeky and aggressive.
Should I go get him while you guys approach the ship and then meet you guys there?
It could be undead.
Because it's a dead tree.
I mean, not only long lost people.
Right. Could be
And dead
undead.
tree.
And a dead tree. You know what? You're not that wrong that often. Could be.
It is always better to prepare for the worst than not at all.
I'll
Disagree.
get my stuff ready.
Hard disagree. That's the voice of someone who likes to do exercise first thing in the morning right there. I'm the guy who's living for the moment, which is why I will be in bed on a lion on a Sunday. I'm just saying.
And that is why you are most likely to get gonorrhea.
That's not why. But, I mean, that's the great thing about gonorrhea. Once you got it, you can't get it anymore.
I've seen their spells to get rid of it now. Don't worry.
Why do you think I have lesser restoration? I Like literally, that's why I
so
learned
you've
that
been
spell.
self-medicating for a while then.
For a while, brother. For a while. Like, to the point where it's actually almost interesting in a while. I let it actually fester. I'd be like, "Ooh, look at that! That's really gone quite yellow." And yeah, bang! See you later, brother.
On that
I had
note,
enough
I
of
grab
this
one of the
shit.
big bottles.
Understands of why your performance in battle is less than normal.
I mean, that and giant boulders squishing me, but yeah.
Yeah, Lucius is gonna leave. He's just gonna go get Sigranus and tell him about the ship.
Ask Sigranus if this looks normal.
What, the ship or your balls?
The shaft. Wait, what's wrong with the balls? Oh my god, what is that?
Oh boy.
Shazam.
Can I send Daisy? Is it Lady Theodosia who's our boss?
I think we broke Bill.
Yeah. Yeah. I come to expect unexpected things, and you still manage to surprise me. So
I'll be honest with you. When we started this conversation, I didn't think we were talking about my dick and balls this much, but I knew it'd be a feature, at least a little.
it had to be in there somewhere.
Right? Hi, co-workers. Anyway.
Look, you've driven Will to his moonshine.
It's been a running theme for the XP Guild since Saturday, so.
Okay.
Just since Saturday? I think it goes further back.
It started
Usually
on Saturday. Yeah, it started on Saturday, so.
Yeah. So Daisy heads off to try to find Theodosia.
And Sigranus.
Heading towards the dock.
And
I'm going to the dock as well.
Lucius is heading towards Sigranus, and everyone else is heading towards the dock.
Yarg.
Yeah.
It actually doesn't take Daisy too long. As she kind of circles around to head towards the temple, she spots Theodosia with kind of a couple of regular guards standing out near the temple watching the arrival of this ship as it gets closer and closer. And Lucius, as you're heading out, you will see Sigranus kind of standing near the palace's main steps, out there with there's the king of, well, actually the king of your island is currently still on the other island, so it would be one of the princes of the island is standing out there with several Ox Lodge members, and Sigranus is kind of standing behind him, off to his right hand side a little bit, watching for the moment.
Okay, I think he would get not too close, and he would just tell him in Elvish, may I approach?
Sigranus will see you and kind of nod and walk over, break off from the king a little bit. Yes, Lucius, what is going on?
We saw your people's symbols on their ship, so I figure it might be something you might wanna look at.
Yes, I was curious about that. The dead tree symbol. I've seen that without the sword part. I've seen that before. Before the shattering, though. It's been a long time.
Wow, how old is this guy to have seen it before the shattering?
It's an elf, man. They live forever, pretty much.
Well, Sigranus is getting up there. He did give you an exact year at one point. 473 years old is what he told you.
Okay.
We'll see soon enough.
I was wondering if you wanted to get closer just in case, but I see that you got company, so I'll make my way back.
Official duties and all. And he nods and then walks back up behind the king.
Okay, Lucius will go back and regroup.
All right. You see your fellows kind of walking out of the temple a little bit ahead of the time you actually arrive towards the doors. And Theodosia is kind of standing out in that courtyard area looking over the docks. What's everyone else heading like? As he's heading back, what are you guys up to?
Is Theodosia walking towards, or she posted surveying?
She's kind of posted surveying near the temple exit that exits towards the royal courtyard and the royal docks.
I'll land Daisy next to her. Obvious that she can see that it's Daisy, and I'll continue walking towards the docks.
Yeah, she'll like reach down and pat Daisy on the head and then glance back, knowing that probably means you guys are nearby. Spot you and nod.
Daisy.
I'm going to look for the beggars and the peddlers on the street that we're walking through.
Well, this particular area is kind of a private courtyard section where it's like the king's castle, the king's palace is
right.
To the north. You guys are on the south, and that's all fenced in from the outside for the most part. And these are private docks where the ship is pulling in at the moment. It's being lashed down.
Can never find a homeless person when you need them.
Sucks, right? They're everywhere when you don't want them. Trying to wipe your windows off with their, newspapers. It's just.
I mean, I was just doing a bit. My God, Bill.
So was I, but okay. So I don't pull it off as well as you. All right. Anyway, so none appear.
All right. So I mean, that plan's got out the window. I think we're just going to walk it. I will play on the lute as we're going along, setting ourselves up for counter charming and whatnot. And I will throw a bardic inspiration into everyone who's with me. So that's Piles and Hendrix, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just getting prepared for anything. So shield ready, hand on spear.
Okay. Yeah. No problem. So as you guys walk up, Theodosia glances over. Looks like we have some excitement today. And you have a pretty good view of the docks. There is a few of these docks that are utilized by the royal kind of courtyard. There's the closer one to the temple itself has currently the tragedy still docked up there, as well as Senator Hella's ship, the New Dawn, is docked up there at the moment, since you guys had kind of sent that back previously. And there's like a couple smaller skiffs, but you see this. It's not the tiniest ship you've seen, but it is by no means like a large or war-capable vessel. It seems to be built for speed and perhaps some agility. But it's got kind of charcoal gray sails on it, and the red flag is waving up on the main mast. As the gangplank's put down, you see this white-haired figure in long kind of robes with buttons that run down the middle, with like high polished golden buttons.
Yep, that's ours. We're going to definitely nick that ship for sure. Like 100%. Look at it. It's got my color schemes. It's everything that's great. 100%. Plus also built for speed and agility. I mean, it's going to be easier to get about. I wonder if maybe do we plan it or do we just take it and go?
We don't even know who's on the ship yet.
Yeah, we can take them with us. More the merrier.
Hendrix and Pius, as you see this white-haired figure kind of walk down the gangplank with this like confident stroll, his hands behind his back, not seeming to be overly stressed, you do catch the gleam of a metallic sort of band that goes around the person's neck.
History check based on conversations I've had with my brother.
Okay. I mean,
can I do some sort of memory check to see if they look like the ones we saw down?
Yeah.
21.
Do you want a history or do you want like a straight intelligence?
Well, whatever works best for Hendrix, go for it.
Neither of them. 7.
I mean, Randy rolled pretty well, so you're gonna get something. Take another roll on that because I'd say you should probably have advantage, seeing as you have some prior knowledge of things.
16 then.
Okay, Randy, it's not necessarily anything that you've had conversations with, but not with your brother, anyways. But the things that they had described seeing below, and Hendrix kind of just behind you comes to that same realization that this is like a pretty solid metal collar, and that's been coming up a lot in Sigranis's conversations as well when you guys were asking him about the collars that they wear.
Okay. Okay. I have that moment where a person who realizes they know something is about to say something for the full group and then realizes there's no point saying it because if you know it, everyone else already knew it anyway. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like a pure, forget it.
Yeah.
Who wants to go talk to this guy?
I'll walk up if I turn back, nobody else is. Do we have a greeting party on the dock? Because I assume there's the military already there.
Yeah, there's several of the Ox Lodge members in their like gleaming golden armor.
And how are they? Are they greeting or hostile or on guard?
They're kind of in that like honor guard sort of thing. Like they're supposed to guide them in, but yet still be ready as always, just in case it's something dangerous. But they're kind of holding themselves in such a way that they're greeting an emissary of a friendly island.
Okay.
Am I behind? Can I be behind Hendrix at this point just before he breaks and walks over to the guy? And has the guy noticed us already at this point?
The guy is walking very self-assured, not really looking around much at the surroundings. He's paying attention to the guards and he's walking towards them very calmly, confidently, just hands behind his back, just kind of strolling kind of slowly, very relaxed. His kind of longer white hair is flowing in the wind.
If he's in that state there, I'd like to go up behind Hendrix and as a performance of creation, I'd like to create a replica of the neck choker. Yeah. Around Hendrix's neck.
Okay.
But like in a subtle way. That'll be good for a couple of hours. And I'm like, maybe we can find some common ground, if you know what I'm saying.
Interesting. I'll message Lucian as well. Just like, whip out that compass for a sec.
I think he has the compass at the moment, Randy.
No. I literally looked at it and I was like, yes, we definitely need something like this and handed it back to you.
Am I back with the group yet?
Yeah.
You would be back.
Oh, you're back? Yes.
Okay, well, I'll whip the compass out and show everybody, see what happens.
Yeah, you pull out the compass and it seems to point heavily towards the west. This guy currently is a little bit more on the northerly side, along with his ship from where you guys are.
I thought
Island of Hellat.
I'm going to also. Can I do a? Oh no, it's this guy's self, isn't it? Sorry, ignore me. Carry
on. I'll walk up ahead and give a courteous side bow. Nothing too low, trying to keep an air of importance around me, and wait for his answer.
Give me a insight check.
27 total.
You see him turn, and as he starts to bow, he notices the collar, and you see this kind of look of surprise and confusion come across his face really quickly, and then he tries to like smooth it over and just act as if he didn't see anything.
Interesting. I wasn't expecting people to have collars in this island.
I have a quick question. Is this one of those soul transfer collars by any chance?
Yeah, I think so.
So if you're wearing it, does that mean that people are putting their souls into you? Or you're giving up those...
I believe if the compass didn't detect a demon, then he's just a human waiting to be used as a vessel.
Okay. Well, shit.
Yeah. I'll get up from the bound. Like, I obviously look at his collar and just go, I see we're kindred spirits to some extent. What brings you here? Is not what I was expecting.
What were you expecting, my friend?
Well, like I said, not a ship to pull up before I'd even had breakfast.
Ah, yes. It's better to come when not expected, yes?
What brings you here then?
I'm a diplomat from your sister island, Hellat.
And what sort of diplomatic trip are you on today?
Do you have the authority to be speaking of this? Should I be telling what I come to speak to your prince or your king? I believe only the prince is here, though.
This is too hasty. It's not the right environment to be talking about this sort of thing. I'm sure from the journey you'd want to rest as well.
Yes, that perhaps would be nice.
I'll message the others, if I can, who can't hear, so they know what's going on, and say, looks like we've got company from Hellas. Have we got...
From Hellat? The island to the east? Is it to the west? Yeah, island to the west, right?
Yes.
It's beyond Vios. All right.
Well, we reply, what does he want?
Diplomatic talks. Shall we? I'll show you to some quarters that you can rest at, and I'll start, I guess, leading this person.
Okay.
Wherever the not the barracks, but
yeah, the ox guard would probably kind of guide you to guide him towards the palace, where the prince is kind of standing at the steps waiting. And as he approaches, one of the ox guard will call out, one who had addressed this individual before you came up, and say, I have one Lord Daravius, representative Hellat, come to speak to the prince about possible diplomatic relations with his father. And the prince will bow. Greetings, sir. And I mean, the prince is like probably 19 or so he's not like super young, but he's not an experienced statesman. Well dressed, fairly simple though, in like a let's go with, he went with like a pale blue today with silver trimmings on his outfit, and he'll give like the kind of head bow sort of thing of a greetings. Greetings, most welcome. I am sure you would like to rest and recover, as we weren't expecting you. I do have the chefs working on meals, though. Perhaps you take some time, and then we can convene within an hour at the dining hall. And the white-haired figure, Daravius, kind of bows. That sounds most agreeable, my sir. I do appreciate it, Prince. The Oxguard kind of lead you and more him up into the palace entrance and down off like a side hall that leads towards kind of like a guest wing of the royal palace.
Does this guy have any retinue at all?
He seems to have walked up by himself. Everyone that came on the ship, the sailors on the ship, are staying on the ship at the moment. And he's just walking in by himself.
Wait. This ship has come from Hellat.
Mm-hmm.
2 islands away. At least a couple of days on the ship. And they're staying on the ship, having landed, having docked.
Probably like a day and a half to 2 days, depending on the speed of the ship. Yeah. Yep.
I'll escort this guy, and I'll probably stay within his vicinity, just like being his contact, but also just keeping an eye on him, to be honest.
Okay. How tall is this guy?
He is probably higher into the 5 foot, just under 6 feet, sort of. Good stature, fairly decently built. Not like huge muscle bound, but kind of toned, athletic looking.
Okay. Can I say to Hendrix, that's only going to last for a couple more hours. You should know that, by the way.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No.
I didn't think you were going to hang out with him for this long, but it's fine.
Well, to be honest, he's going to be in there for, an hour, and then other people are going to come in.
True.
Yeah, they said they'd have, like, food prepared in the dining hall of the palace itself, so...
We can always say that you have a glamour so that it's not on display all the time. You know, that's easy enough to fake.
I mean, your thing lasts for 3, right?
Yeah.
So at the moment, you're fairly good.
Yeah.
What is everyone else doing? Did everyone follow Hendrix in, or is he in there and the rest of you are out doing something else?
I will have followed.
Okay.
Yeah, same thing. Keep an eyeball out on.
I'm going to hang back for maybe half an hour and then catch up with him.
Okay.
I'd like to walk the docks and look for any of the little scamps who I may know. See if I can get a little bit of ship watch going on.
Okay. Again, being like the Royal Docks, there's not like the random people, but there are like the dock attendants that you probably would have gotten to know at some point.
Okay.
Even if on cursory terms, since you haven't been a Shield Warden for a super long time, or even been at the temple grounds. But
gone out of my way of being either incredibly rude as a halfling or an elf, which I am not anymore.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you would see some of these like dock attendants kind of scurrying around.
Any of them halfling sized?
Yeah, you would probably notice there seems to be on the younger side for a gnome, but there is a gnomish gentleman, kind of well kept, and he's in just like solid worker like browns with like, you know, the Vassos symbol upon his breast, and he would be kind of like moving around, and he's sweeping, and he is like just doing general labor and stuff around the docks, just kind of doing
labor stuff. He's around on the docks, but people aren't really seeing him. He's off doing his own thing, right?
Yeah, which sounds like what you were looking for. There's other people, but this is one
that's my guy.
Fits.
So I'm going to cast disguise self on myself to look like that dude, and then I will make my way over to one of the shipyard attendants and strike up a conversation looking to get hold of the manifest of the ship that just docked. Look for a bill of lading, or look for name of the ship, captain of the ship, and how many are on the ship.
Yeah. So you see kind of a heavier set dwarvish fellow. Looks like he's getting on in years. His brown hair is starting to look more gray than brown, and he's kind of standing towards the top of the docks, and he's just kind of like looking over a clipboard, jotting down things in a notebook.
Hey, bud.
Hey, Carl, what are you doing?
Oh, I've just done a quick break over here. Is that a ship coming in from Hellat?
Yeah, it would certainly appear that way, yep.
That's cray-cray. This is gonna sound weird. Can I take a look at the ship manifest?
What do you need that for?
I need to check something. My cousin's been doing a lot of shipbuilding recently, and he said that he was going to be working out of Hellat. So I just wanted to see whether or not I was going to actually see any of his work on there.
Why don't you give me a deception check?
Sure, why not? Random thing to say to a random dude. Deception. Plus 12. That's a 26.
Okay. He kind of gives a shrug. He's like, I guess so. There's not much on the manifest. Hands you the paper that he was given. Like, one passenger and supplies for the ship.
Interesting. Can I palm that and can I... No, I didn't prep it. Dang it, I didn't prep my wax paper. I'm so stupid. I should have had that ready to go. I knew what I was going to do. All right, here's what it is. I'm going to scan it, memorize it, commit it to memory, and hand it back and go, nah, not this one. No bother.
It's all right.
Anything flagging up danger while Robinson?
Are you asking him that, or just things that you're trying to gather?
No, just, yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I've never seen that flag before, but who knows? All these diplomat people are always trying to have their own sigils or whatever, I guess. Seem like they're more important than they really are.
Yeah. Knobs and the knobs. I get it.
Yeah.
You got to put hankering that you're going to keep an eye on them. Make sure they don't leave.
I mean, there's no other ships coming in today. I'll probably just be kind of sitting here.
All right. Fair enough.
Nothing else going on.
It's going to be just you and the ship. So you're boring.
I mean, that's why they pay me to be the dockmaster, right? And I thought they paid you to clean things.
Yeah. All right. I'll see you later. Bye.
All right. See you, Carl.
See you later, my man. Gonna pick his pocket on my way out.
All right. Give me a sleight of hand.
For literally no other reason than for giggles. Oh, no! 7. I go, I'm not Carl! And I run away.
Hey!
I change. He'll see my body changing, so I don't actually look like Carl anymore.
Yeah.
But then I'll just run off. I don't want this poor dog worker to go to jail. That'd be such a dick move.
You see this poor little gnome getting thrown off the dock.
No! Pitiful. Oh no, that's worse. Much slower.
Yeah, you have a minute to think about how you fall to your death. Then you continue. All right, cool.
Yeah,
cool. Yeah, he kind of, chases after you for a little bit, but gets winded. Feels his pockets. He's like, didn't get anything anyways. It kind of goes back to his vigil on the docks to keep an eye out. Meanwhile, within the room itself, this white-haired individual, where did I just put that? Doravius, is led into a kind of like a lounge room. Like, it's got some chairs, a coffee table. There is a fire going in the fireplace that was apparently worked up before. There's a small, like, kind of bar area there that has like wine and water. It's got some fruits out there, just kind of like a simple little things, some sort of small like crackery type bread arranged. And this is the palace. So this is a lavish room. The chairs and sofas look extremely comfortable. There's a painting on the wall of like at least what seems to be like an imagined view of what the pre-shattering world would have been like, with like greenery and waves. So it's like looking from like a hilltop out over like some other hills, and the beaches stretched out and the waves out there, with a ship kind of off in the distance, kind of sailing past the view. And Duravius kind of walks up with his hand still behind his back and kind of stares at the painting as you guys come in. The Ox Lodge guard kind of posts at the door on the outside and lets him go in. And he stands there looking at the painting for a moment or two. What are you guys up to as you enter this room?
Was I on the outside of the room or inside the room?
That's up to you if you wanted to enter. He didn't seem to he didn't pull the door shut or anything behind him as he walked in.
I'd like to think I would have been in the room trying to make small conversation.
Okay.
General conversation, how long was the journey? Did you traveling straight from Hellat? Unusually crew for such a journey. These sort of questions, trying to get a bead on. Is this a kamikaze mission, basically? He's come on his own, or has he done this to show that he's no threat? I'm just trying to get more of a judge on his character.
Yeah. As he talks, he seems very calm and collected, very relaxed in his surroundings, at least. Says, no, we came from Valos after. We came here from Valos. Valos was my first stop upon my mission, and this is my second.
Well, many more to go after?
Perhaps. We'll see how things go. We did a deception check, right, already, for the color.
I just know I did an insight check for it.
Insight, yep. Give me a deception check just to see how, now that he's spending more time with you.
Okay. And I'm going to chuck on that bardic inspiration if it's still going. What is it? D6? D8?
D8. He's muted, but yes. Lip reading.
That's a 3 plus... Oh, gosh. 3 plus 12. But I've got advantage in chat, so I'm going to use that as well.
Okay.
If that's okay.
Yeah.
For a 23 total.
All right. Cool. I was not aware that there were any that bear the colors here. How did you come by that?
A crazy mishap where I woke up below.
Interesting. You woke up below and you ended up with a collar and you're here?
There was a ship explosion.
Not
some sort of crystal.
Yeah, well. You have not been enlightened then, have you?
Not yet.
Well, more's the pity for you, I'm sure.
And yourself?
And myself, what?
Enlightened?
I am definitely illuminated, my friend.
Side chuckle. As I guess I look at the painting with him and go, it's crazy to think what it was like before.
And they did an okay job, I suppose, not knowing what the ocean looks like. The shades are a little off, especially if these shores here are supposed to be of the area I believe they were. But it is okay. I guess I cannot expect one who's never seen the earth before to know its beauty.
Do I get a sense that he's very old, or he's just referring to stuff that he's seen before? Is it learned knowledge or experience?
Go ahead and give me an insight check and see.
Dirty 20.
I love these rolls because I'm still rolling 4s and 3s and a little bit of both. He seems to speak despite, he's got white hair, but his skin and complexion and everything seem to be that of a younger individual, human, and probably no older than 25, in fairly good physical condition. But he speaks, and the tones and his mannerisms, you're drawing that you think he speaks from both experience of age and experience of actual sight.
Keep that to my... The others aren't in the room yet, or are they now coming in?
I think if Lucius and Pios were entering, they would probably be, only a few steps behind you at the the most, so they could probably be in there by now.
I'm staying on the outskirts, just keep my eye on everything.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. No problem.
But kind of want to figure out what Lady Fedocia is saying about this sitch. If
She, on the other hand, did not follow you guys in. She's currently... you've got a good passive perception. I can't speak. You probably would have seen her walking towards the palace itself, so she is definitely heading that way. But did not seem to have followed you guys in.
Okay. I literally, I'm there now, waiting for what the prince and the food to turn up. I guess are the next two things that are going to come in the room.
Okay.
I'll maybe send Lucius a message, just letting him know that this person seems older than what he looks like. A lot older.
I think I know what you're saying. I don't trust them because of the collar.
I guess we need to wait for the prince and figure out what the diplomatic talk is. War or peace or subject.
He'll look over at you and then take a moment, glance over at Lucius, glance over at Pylos. So are you the ones that Sadrian said was trying to track them down? Or at least his former, his host, I suppose.
Crippled professor.
That name rings a bell?
Yeah, you guys would have heard the term Sadrian used in, I believe it was the vision when you guys were down below looking in the mirror. It was Crow's body, I believe, that answered. And he used the name Sadrian.
Gotcha. I would just reply, so you're very aware of things.
Well, I don't know how your diplomats do things, but if they are sent into situations without the full picture or scope of where they are going and who they may face, then no wonder your things are a mess up here.
True.
Well, I do not see what he is worried about, but it is all right. We come to bring knowledge to your world that you could only imagine. More power, and who knows, perhaps your island nation states can grow beyond this and be a power to truly be reckoned.
Sounds very interesting. Definitely up to them. Why don't I go and try to fetch somebody for you so that way this doesn't take too long?
Oh, it is all right. I am used to waiting, and I have all the time I ever need.
Sure you do. He's gonna start walking away. He's gonna look for Sigranos.
Okay. Yeah.
Can I ask, Lucius, in that moment, as you're facing someone who, as far as you're concerned, is either a devil or devil adjacent, how restrained are you in that moment? Are you ice cold, or are you like a simmering rage ready to just destroy this thing?
I don't know, he's just chilling. He's like waiting for something to happen so he can take this guy's head off.
Just the most mellow paladin of all time. I love it.
I mean, he's not a paladin, so that...
You're not a paladin.
No. Again, 100% Randy thinks of him as a pure paladin. Because he has armor.
I mean, it's close enough. So.
Yeah, it's true.
So do you head towards Sigranis' chambers, or do you head and ask somebody, who's in the halls, where he might be?
I'd probably ask somebody in the halls where he's at.
Yeah, you would see a dark-skinned female, her hair pulled back, her dark hair pulled back and like braided in together. And she would gesture towards the door. The king is in the Great Hall with Sigranis and his other, advisors. if you want to find them, you can easily find them there.
Thank you. And he will head down there.
Okay. So while they are there, Lucius is making his way to the Great Hall. Is there anything Hendrix and Pios are up to?
I will just be a courteous host for now.
Okay. He would.
While I'm getting close enough, if I can just give a quick eye up if nobody else is, just to see if he's got any concealed weapons. Like, is he got a sword on his hip as an obvious one, or does it look like he has stuff on him, like a bulge where a couple of daggers would be? From how he's walking, has he got like levers on, ready for combat, or is he just in formal wear?
Okay.
And I'm checking to see unusual items like rings or jewelry or some kind of oddities, like is his shoes specially glowing or some shit like that.
If you want, I'll just help you.
Yeah, well, I was gonna basically say I'm helping you, but yeah. So,
Whichever way.
The comment that you made in Skype chat, so I'm like, how can we do this together? So.
Yeah, I'm fine if either you both want to roll or one of you wants to roll with advantage. I'd say perception with what we're doing there, or if you guys want to go towards different things, we could do that. Like if you're, want to glance over for just like weapons, armament stuff, do like perception. And if someone wants to do Arcana roll to see like if anything's kind of strikes them as particularly interesting.
So I have a +1 to Arcana.
More than me. I got a -1.
Oh, okay.
So it's up to you though which way you want to go. You don't even have to check them.
I can roll a perception just to check for obvious weapons if you want to flip the ones over for
one. Yeah, let's cover both grounds, whether it's crap or not. So. Oh shit! Snap. 19.
I got an 11 on my roll.
You got 11 on your roll?
Yeah, from a nat 1.
I was gonna say you had to roll low because you've got a high perception.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Okay. It's tough to tell. That coat, like the coat he's wearing, is loose enough that there could be all sorts of things hidden underneath. I mean, it's well tailored, but it's not tailored to be tight. It's kind of flowy and looser. And Pios, you said you got a
19 on Arcana.
19. Jeez. Yeah. He does appear to be wearing a ring on like the same finger, the same kind of like pointer finger on either hand.
Mm-hmm.
And they seem to be like golden bands, and you spot like a little wing, sort of like almost an angelic wing, like etched into the front of it.
Give Hendrik the look.
I'm like, no shoelaces, no. It's the only look I know from you. Okay. Do some sort of thief cant's hand signal.
Yeah. Yeah, I can speak that too. So yeah. Oh, I gave him the finger.
It's the wrong finger.
I know.
Randy, as you kind of make your way over after your half an hour or so of kind of running around and ditching the rotund dwarf, where are you headed?
To where I know the guys are.
Okay. I mean, as you head into the palace itself, you see Lucius heading like down a large hallway towards a large, like elaborate double door that seems to be wrought out of some sort of like marble or something like that has just been etched in symbols of the various beasts and such that you would recognize as various lodges that are used here upon Vassos.
Do I know this door? Do I know what's behind it?
I think you'd probably recognize this as kind of like the grand hall for the king.
Right.
Kind of like the main dining room.
Then I shall join Lucius as he's heading to that then. Is it Lucius who's heading to that, did you say?
Yeah, Lucius was heading in that direction, having been pointed that way to find Sagranus.
Okay. Hey, Lou, I found you. Come on, dude. Don't feel blue. And I give him a little bit of bardic.
He goes like this, like, shh, and he'll get closer to you until he, I'm pretty sure that guy's possessed by a demon.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I'm going to inform Sagranus.
Oh, wow. That's pretty bad, my dude.
Well, they're definitely planning something. I think they're trying to seduce the Prince with power.
I mean, he is exactly stupid enough to actually want to do that.
Especially to prove his dad that he can do that business, I would imagine.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, all right. So you think the guy who's come on in is bad news, Bears?
I mean, I think so, but I mean, how do you tell a bad demon from a good demon?
Oh, that's easy enough. You sing at them.
Right, well, why don't you go give him a melody while I talk to Sagranus?
Okay, no bother. I'm going to go up, crack out the lute, and I'm going to kick open the doors, and I'm going to start singing as I start approaching, playing loudly, and I'm aiming to make a beeline to the center, and then looking for the diplomat as I'm singing, and I'm going to try and lock eyes with that guy, and I'm going to sing.
So you burst through these double doors.
Yeah.
So as you burst through these double doors and you go in, and you're singing and you're strumming your lute and you're looking around for the diplomat, and you see Sagranus,
Yeah.
you see Theodosia,
Yeah.
and you see the prince.
Yeah.
But you don't see the diplomat yet.
Yeah.
But now you're like in the middle. You're like,
It's a wrong room. This is the matinee performance I think I'm on later on this evening, Your Grace. And I'm going to walk backwards into Lucius and realize I can't now leave that space. You didn't tell me he wasn't in here. You made me look stupid.
He was where I came from. Plus, you didn't ask. I didn't know you were going to go do this right now, right then and there.
Okay, I think you know what inference is, and I think on some level you decided to not give me that little tidbit because you had a little bit of fun, didn't you? A little bit of fun, didn't you, big man? I see you.
Maybe.
Yeah, I'll get you next time. My liege, it is a pleasure to see you, my lord. As ever, the sun shines upon your face just to make sure that the warmth you spread to humanity is reflected back upon yourself. How are you, my lord?
I'm doing well. I don't think I've had the pleasure.
Oh, well, far be it for me to break protocol, but allow me to introduce myself. My name is Randall Romes of the Romes household. My father is, as we know, a bastard offshoot and calls himself Loams. No, I don't. It's a common mistake people make, but Minnesota Loams is a fine individual who I have no relation to in any way, shape, or form.
Well, what a shame. I do like that chap.
Yes, I hear great things about him all the time.
Well, and he glances around at Sagranus and Theodosia, and Theodosia's like, I'm sorry, he's one of mine. Let me see what is going on. And she kind of walks over. Randy, what is the meaning of all this?
Demon in the castle.
Demon in the castle. That is an interesting one. I have not heard from you.
Look at my face, Theodosia. Demon in the castle.
So you're saying this new one is a demon?
He's got a collar around his neck. Same thing that the guy saw when they went down there. They rate themselves as what? They're going to be a vessel. I reckon this guy's already a vessel. He came in by himself. He's got no retinue. Have you ever seen anyone rocking up who's a royal by themselves without one bodyguard? That's nuts. No one's left that ship. They've been on that boat for 2 days.
She glances over as you're talking to Sigranus and like does one of those like eye nod things, like get over here. And Sigranus kind of excuses himself and walks over. What's going on?
Demon in the castle. Lucius. Demon in the castle?
Yes, he by name named one of the demons that took somebody else's body that we encountered when we were down below. And he plans on seducing the prince with power to help the nation.
Well,
I just figure I'd give you guys a heads up. Obviously, it's up to y'all what you want to do. I just didn't think it would be a good thing for me to attack a visitor in the castle.
no, it's probably not good to instigate. We'll have to keep an eye. One thing, though, they're not necessarily demons. Majority of those wearing the colors are just, well, mortals at one point, but have extended their lives.
Okay.
Regardless, it's
Doesn't make
the
it any
enemy.
better. Trust me.
I mean, demon to demonic. Long-lived, immortal. At some point, we can accept that a powerful, dangerous entity that is unknown in this castle close to our royalty. I know you care about that. I don't, but you're my mate. So I'll tell you what, Sigranus. Think about it. Make a fucking plan, yeah? My lord, it's been an absolute pleasure. I must go. There are pigs in the toilet. And I leave. Purely to get out of that space and give Lucius the opportunity with Theodosia and Sigranus to make a plan for the prince.
They look over at Lucius. All right, then, let's go see what the prince wants to do about this knowledge. They
Make sure that he doesn't, when he speaks to the person, that he doesn't, say anything that I told you guys right now. I don't know how smart he is about this thing. No offense.
He's young, but he'll take guidance anyways. And they, are you staying with them or are you leaving?
I'll stay with them unless they tell me to leave.
No, in fact, she'll probably put her hand on your shoulder and kind of guide you over as she walks over. Prince, this is Lucius. He's one of my Shield Wardens and a member of the Ox Lodge. Apparently, they have some information about this delegate. He bears upon him a collar that apparently allows other creatures. She kind of glances over at Sigranus and he nods and goes, yes, stories from before the shattering, my lord. These collars allowed powerful individuals to possess bodies of those that that bore the collars. They could transfer their souls from body to body and maintain length and skill. So, whatever he has to say, I think we need to hear, but we need to delay him and/or, obfuscate our personal knowledge of what and who he is. However, I do not wish to risk you either, my lord. We'll need to figure out a way to present ourselves without him realizing either that you're not here or that you not being here isn't a slight or a tip-off of what's going on.
Could I use my ring ascending as I'm moving away from that group?
Sure.
Send a message to Theodosia.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, no, I'm going to send it to Lucius and say, why put the prince in a room with this man. We must find some way to send in a duplicate, a body double.
I gotcha. Before Lucius speak, he will kneel down the prince and just wait for him to, tell him to stand.
Yeah, he'll tap you on the shoulder. Rise, good sir. I am not my father. You do not need, at least anyways, to do such things. And
he would just say, we had an excursion down below, and this person has mentioned the name of a person we met down there who took the body of a mortal. They swapped souls or something like it. So it seems that he would like to offer you power and try to get your partnership somehow. So it's really up to you, but I would think it'd be best somehow to find a way to have a double of yourself in there, because who knows what this person can do. And them being by themselves, they might try to catch you by surprise, thinking that they might be weak when they're not.
No, that does sound like a good idea. I mean, I don't have my own Shield Wardens of yet. I'd have to be elevated further before that would happen. Do any of you have any abilities to take the place of someone?
I think somebody might. And are you still in the room, Randy?
No, man.
No, he left.
I left. I left with a view to actually find the demon dude.
Okay, I'll look at Sigranus, and could you contact Randy, see if maybe he'd be willing to appear as the prince.
How tall is the prince?
I mean, he's a human male, in his 19, so he's probably 5'8", 5'9", somewhere in there.
Okay,
he's a good athletic, stocky.
Cool. Yeah. No, I definitely will not be able to do that at all in any way, shape, or form.
I think Sigranus would know enough about magic. He's like, well, unless he has a very powerful ability to grow, I think his size will prohibit him from pulling off a feasible likeness.
I can grow or I can change. I can't change and grow.
How about yourself, or do you have a magical item that maybe one of us could use?
I wonder if my Folklucan could help out here. I don't think it can, but I'll check. Entangle.
See, I mean, it would have to be either you or Hendrix.
Yeah, I think it would have to. I think Hendrix is.
Yeah, I was thinking Hendrix.
Yeah, I can't change anyone. But here's my thing. The prince was greeted on the docks by Hendrix. Hendrix never said what his name was. He just greeted him, and when the guy said, "Should I not say this for the prince?" Hendrix said, "Absolutely."
Well, then later to the...
I'm thinking, does this guy know what the prince actually looks like?
I mean, you're on the way there anyways, so
yeah.
I would think that you could ask one of the mini servants that is bustling around like crazy right now where to find this diplomat, and find your way to this room where you'll find Hendrix and Pios kind of talking with this Theravius, and who has now poured himself a glass of wine, and he looks at the others. Do either of you want to try this subpar vintage that you people call wine? I mean, it is excellent. You should all try it. Take a sip,
I see this.
Set it down. Sure.
You're right. This is a terrible vintage. I don't know why they're giving it to you. What would be a better one for yourself, sir? What would you be looking for in this particular day?
I am not familiar with the growth varietals that you have up here. Granted, it has been a very long time since I had a good, properly made grape. They do not grow so well in my homeland.
Well, that's because of all the, Anyway, I got a bottle for you, I think, and I pull out the dwarven whiskey that I had taken from Hella's hotel room, the one that we didn't drink after all that. And I'm like, you should try this.
Interesting. He'll pull another cup out.
Try to, when you're drinking it, to imagine what it was like to be surrounded by pure darkness. To know that every movement and motion that you make would be with constant pressure of thousands of tons of danger and doom. But of course, you're from Hellat. You know what I'm talking about.
Yes, I'm from Hellat.
Hellat, the island, so amazing, they thought they could include an entire dimension of evil inside the name. And we wouldn't even know where it was at.
He just smiles and holds up his cup. Let's take a pause here. Take a quick break. I do need to use the facilities. Let's aim to be back here by the 45 mark. And then continue on the story. So thank you, everyone, for joining us. Thank you all for getting this kind of story build-up time here to see what happens with the diplomat. And we'll be back shortly. I'll see you guys in a bit. Thank you so much, guys, for joining us for yet another XP Guild show. If you are enjoying this, please do us a favor, click like, subscribe, hit the bell notification if you want to be notified when our next show goes live. Feel free to drop us a comment. We'd love to hear from you guys, hear your thoughts on the show, or anything else you want to talk about. I'd like to take a quick moment to say thank you to our friends over at Hero Forge, a Sky Castle LLC product. We are not sponsored by them, but if you're looking for great custom miniatures, check out HeroForge.com. They've been so kind to let us use their art, as many of the miniatures and artwork that we use come from their website with their permission. However, they have not reviewed our content, and so what we do does not necessarily represent their views or beliefs. Again, thank you to Hero Forge. Now, let's get back to the show. Welcome back, everyone. So when we left off, Randy was giving some dwarven fire whiskey to the diplomat here, Doravius. And let's see, Lucius is talking to the Prince, Theodosia, and Sacranus. So Doravius holds up the glass and takes a sip and nods a little bit. I've had worse rot gut, but I'd rather the kick than that attempted wine.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear what you just said there.
I said I've had worse. I do prefer it better than the attempted wine.
Yeah, no, I figured you'd prefer something from the ground.
I also forgot the accent I was using, my friend, so I'm sorry for that one.
No, that's actually not a problem. I forgot my accent as well, so we're back on track now.
All right, then.
Marvelous. I must say that having someone here from Hellat is actually something of a surprise. You're not a people known for their travel, are you?
Well, I suppose that is the grace of having our island the furthest away from others. We are the most secure, of course. Allows us quite a bit of leeway in how we go and what has to happen.
When you say security, what do you mean? I must plead your forgiveness for my ignorance on this particular subject, but truly, despite the knowledge I have of the Latong, I have dreadfully limited knowledge of Hellat.
Ah, yes. Well, it is okay to be ignorant sometimes about things that do not concern you. I understand that. Well, the island itself being situated, as farthest away from outside enemies and dangers, with the exception of those who may be try to far outflank the rest of the islands and come at us from the distance. Leaves us pretty well secure. Plus, of course, our capital being a strong fort amidst the ring of mountains that surrounds the valley. And always we have our, last-ditch fortress towers upon the mountains in the middle. Makes us very well safe and unworried about invasion, as I'm sure you could understand that being so good and not having to deal with the vampires like you guys may do, or the orcs like the northern, or the Nordmark people like a particular zone and Electras have to.
Sure. No, I understand the benefits of a secure location. I have always felt about security the way that one feels about a blanket when you're a child. At first, you feel comforted by it, but soon it becomes a crutch, and you forget its original purpose. I wonder, with you coming out, are you finally acknowledging that this isolationist policy doesn't behoove one who wishes to remain part of the Latong contingent?
Well, we certainly see now that there are better ways to make our mark upon this world. And I think the Latong could be greater, and if we were a little more unified, we could perhaps use that power and some of the knowledge we have gathered through our years of isolation to push out even, and perhaps eliminate the dangers of those foes that continue to pester us from our borders.
Now, that's an interesting use of the word "our." When you say "our borders," of course you refer to the Latong as a whole. And
Of course.
Of course. Insight check.
Okay.
Like for realsies. Insight. Come on, baby. Duh, baby. Why? 5.
He is very hard to read. He seems to give you that air of being perfectly genuine, as well as being able to hide all of the normal, sudden, like, small micro expressions and such that you've gotten so good at being able to kind of, like, tell how people react to your shenanigans and to various things in life, as being a storyteller, musician would have given you a bit of experience on.
Which in and of itself gives me knowledge about this person. That the way that they can control facial tics and reactionary movements, it lets me know I'm dealing with a professional. I take a little sip of the whiskey. Well, have you met the prince before?
As you have pointed out, we have been quite isolationist. We have not had the pleasure of meeting the prince. His father has come to our island before, but his father, I believe, is up in Demos for the events of the funeral, and not yet met the prince himself. So, but I believe, was that not him upon the steps that I came out to and bowed to?
Yep. Good looking out. I assume so. But sometimes the prince engages in a little glamour. I'm sure you have also enjoyed this in your time. I myself enjoy doing one of these, and I quickly do a disguise self and turn myself into a very pretty but quite old gnome woman. very fine dress gather. As you can see, well, sometimes we all like to play a little dress up. It helps maintain the illusion. I'm sure you understand. And I come back to myself and so.
Yes, I believe when I was younger and did not have much control over myself, I would utilize part of the tricks from time to time, yes.
Locking in control myself into the vault, right? Getting that one in there. I only mention that because one of the prince's favored forms, and I give you advance warning because he does like to joke sometimes, does the prince. He sometimes appears to dress, and I describe Hendrix's character.
I mean, Hendrix is in the room still, so...
I understand,
Okay.
and I go. So, you may want to keep an eye on young Hendrix.
He glances over at Hendrix. Interesting.
He's in a different corner of the room, yes? Yeah.
Sure.
If we lock eyes, I just little bow.
He does like to play his games. Why not offer him some whiskey and let him know that you know? And he'll be able to just speak with you plainly. And it would just be two people having a conversation.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
I suddenly feel I must go to the little boy's room. Lovely to meet you, my prince. And I'm going to head over, and as I go past, I'm going to not touch, but send a little bardic out to Hendrix, like, you got this, mate. No bother.
Not knowing the plan, completely effused.
At all. Yeah. Do you literally do that as I'm about to leave? And I'll be like, a couple of steps, and I go, he thinks you're the prince.
Okay.
Meanwhile, he pours another whiskey and he walks over. Good sir, would you like to partake with me? Your small, funny friend there produced this adequate bottle of some sort of strong burning liquid. It's not unpleasant.
It must be the dwarven, and I'll thank him and take a glass and cheers him.
Cheers. Takes a sip.
I take a sip as well.
So, what does your wonderful island have to offer here? I must give you that I have not traveled here myself, only read things. But it is better to hear one who knows the island intimately.
Of course. I'll big up the economy of the island and say, well, good place for trade, as well as our military is one of the strongest I've seen. I'm curious though, what have you heard about our island? Obviously, we like to portray a certain air of dignity and modesty when it comes to talking.
Yes, well, I've heard you have a decent military, a fairly strong naval presence. Although, never mind. It's interesting. You have to deal with the raids from the barony that is not far from here. You're not speaking out loud, my friend.
I feel with every different island, there's always going to be some sort of mixed views.
Of course.
Finding common ground is probably the key when it comes to well, I'm sure you understand being on a diplomatic mission yourself.
Yes, it's something that you have some experience in now, or are you still learning that
It is difficult to get away, but I do enjoy it when I can.
Well, yes, I understand. It must be very hard. Your father, I'm sure, demands much of you in this training time as you gear up to take some command over these regions, yes?
I when he says it so blatant, I look around, and I just cheers him, giving the impression that I know that he knows that I'm the prince, but not actually saying I'm the prince.
Meanwhile, in the other room, Lucius is with the king and Theodosia and Sigranus.
The prince, right? Not the king.
Oh, the prince. Sorry, I keep doing that. Just prince.
You got it.
The king is on a different island. Yeah.
He's not dead at all, you guys. He's fine.
He's fine. Nothing to worry about here. Move along.
Totally alive!
So yeah, what's going on there, Lucius?
Pretty much trying to figure out what's the action they want to take, like, especially with Sigranus, like, is he going to use any magic? What's going on?
I mean, we could easily have a scroll of disguised self for you or Hendrix to take the place of our prince and stand in for him here during those meetings, and could even have the prince close enough by that he could feed information if needed be through other magical means. We have these little message earrings that work for short distances. We could have the prince in a nice armored area and have him sending out information to whoever's taking that place. Certainly a doable option.
Not a bad idea. Is there any way to maybe scry in the room, see what's going on?
Oh, the room where this man is currently? Or
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, of course, the power and the capabilities there. The question is depending on what he is good at, would that alert him that something is up or that we are worried about his presence here?
I gotcha, I understand.
I think for now we'll have to hope that your friends are faring well in there and not tipping him off that we know, and then we'll have him in here. And even as you guys are talking, you start seeing like servants bringing in platters of food. It does appear that the food is about ready. Do you want to take the prince's place since your friend Hendrix isn't over here? Or?
I think he probably should take the place. I think he's better talking than I am.
All right. He walks over off to the side. There's like a cabinet that's over there that he opens up and pulls out a scroll and a couple of these like earrings. Hands you one of the earrings and the scroll. Gives the other one to the prince. So then you get to Hendrix, you can have him cast this. I think he's got enough capability magically that he can pull that off and make himself look like the prince. And with the earring, the prince can feed him information and gather some info from what they're saying.
Alright, I do appreciate this, and I'll go find them now and make this happen.
So you can tell him we're ready for him in the hall here. Maybe see if there's a way you could let Hendrix escape first so he could meet him here, or, I mean, as a prince, he could come in a little later from one of the side entrances.
Alright, sounds good.
Alright. And Sigranus starts ushering the prince off towards like a side room. as you exit and head back to find your compatriots there in the lounge. The man is standing there talking with Hendrix, kind of chit-chatting, nothing. Unless Hendrix, you were looking to pry anything or delve anything. He's just kind of muted. I know.
I just broke then, to be honest. Maybe trying to get just a better read on if this is a diplomatic meeting that benefits both sides, or if it's a slave deal, a trick to try to. I'm trying to see if his intents are pure for the nations of the islands, or it is literally he's just mustering up forces and promising everything, seeing if it's a trap.
Yeah, he is kind of currently keeping it generally innocuous, but it's perhaps a situation where the might that we have built up being held back and staying out of the mainline fighting and training and expanding our resources could be of use to help you defend your borders and perhaps even drive off the barony once and for all. Eliminate such a threat or coax them to our sides and utilize them against others. We could all benefit, but
From meeting him on the dock area to now, how much time has passed? Hour and a half, 2 hours?
About an hour, which is about when they said that the meal would have been ready, and you see Lucius kind of push the door open about that time.
I'll get about halfway, do like a little bow and say, may I have a word real fast?
One of my fellow wardens, and I'll excuse me for a moment, and I'll bow away, and what's up?
Follow me real quick, and I'll close the door, and I'll pretty much tell them what happened in that room and how they want him to take the prince's place, and I'll give him the earring. With this, you'll be able to talk. The prince will feed you information, so that way you can talk to this gentleman and figure out information, see what he wants.
Okay. So what? I'll meet you outside in 2 moments, then.
Why don't you go to this room and I'll mention the room they want him to meet him at, and so that way you can be disguised as the prince, and he'll meet you over there and you can chat with him.
Cool. I'll at least say my farewells.
I'll say your farewells, and then I'll usher him to the room when you're ready.
I'll go up to the white-haired gentleman. Like, I hear the prince is ready for you now. It's more than a pleasure, and I'll cheek the glass, and I'll leave it back on the side, and I will let Lucius escort him away.
And I follow Hendrix.
Okay. So Lucius is leading Therabius towards the Grand Hall.
Yeah, I'll take him to wherever he's supposed to meet up to talk to Hendrix, ask the prince, and looking like the prince.
Okay. So you lead him back into that large room that you had met Sigranus and Theodosia in. And now there's like fully set up for a large breakfast sort of a thing. Theodosia and Sigranus are in there already, and as they see him, they kind of bow to him. Just that mild, more head bow than a full, what they would show to a fellow or someone of higher stature. Welcome. Yes, was Thoravius? Was that the name I heard? I am sorry. I am High Priestess Theodosia McCready, and please become comfortable. We will have the prince join you in just a moment. He wanted to fully freshen up before his meeting with our diplomat from our nearby islands.
At this point, I'm running around a long way, trying to get to the back entrance where the prince probably would come out of near the throne. So I'm like,
I step out the
Take 2
toilet and
minutes,
watch you go past.
Lucius is gonna close the door and leave the room.
All right. So you're going to leave him in there with Theodosia and them and stay outside?
Yeah, I'll be right outside.
Okay. So Hendrix, what is your plan as you run around?
I'll go round to the side entrance. I assume because he would be in the main door that led to come in. There'll probably be doors at the far end.
Yeah. There's a couple.
I'd set up. I'd get this earring and realize that my ears aren't pierced, and then think, okay, and then I'll get this scroll and open it up and go, and I'll start sounding out the letters on this until something happens.
Okay. You're able to fumble your way through the disguise self spell, and focusing at, I'm assuming, to look as the prince had looked earlier.
Yeah. Once I'm changed, I will take a breath and enter the room, taking not my time, but I'm not rushing. No more. Trying to fully get into the role of somebody that's more money than sense.
And they call out as the Ox Lodge there opens the door for you and steps in. Prince Zan is here. Everyone stands up. Kind of gives a bow towards the prince. As you walk in, kind of coming out somewhat behind the head of the table, main chair set up, and on your right-hand side is where like Theodosia and Socrates have kind of stationed themselves amongst the various other. There seems to be some other lords and senators that have kind of taken the like high council options that would be in the area. You're muted.
Is Socrates there?
Yeah, Socrates is sitting next to where the prince will end up sitting as he's walking in, or will be sitting. He stood up for the entrance.
Is the prince coming into the room as well?
Well, Billy came into the room as the prince.
That's what I'm saying. Is the prince going to be coming in dressed as someone else, or is he not coming in at all?
No.
We don't know. We don't know what the plan is, do we? Okay.
And then Hendrix will hear in his ear, is this thing working? Can you hear me? I've never used these things before.
I'm like, yes. Everybody seated. Come on, missus. No time for formalities. It's on. Take a seat.
Good job. Just, if you need to know things, I'll try to give you the information as best I know it, which I guess is as best you would know it. This is weird. All right, cool. Good luck.
I'm going to head out, and I'm going to start looking for where the prince may be.
Okay. Give me a perception or investigation check, whichever one you desire.
No, 8.
Pios, did you enter with Hendrix / the Prince San?
I think after a brief time period, Pios would have caught up.
Yeah.
And then entered shortly after that, but stood by near the door. You know, like he's a personal guard kind of concept. You know.
And Lucius, you're waiting outside the door. Randy, eventually you can find it. It just, you keep opening doors. You're like, nope, That's not it. Open a door. Some girl screams. You're like, nope, that's not it.
Remember that for later.
Keep making your way around. It probably takes you about 5 minutes to finally find the right corridor or sets of corridors that would lead to the right spots. Meanwhile, in the room, the food is being served. Some servants bustle around to, make plates for everyone as they go. Make sure that they are have their water, their coffee, whatever they're drinking at this stage. And one comes over. What would you like, my prince?
Are they gesturing towards the drink or the food?
They're just asking you what would you like? Yeah.
Just fix me a plate.
Okay.
Glass of whiskey. On the side. And then after that, I assume we eat before we start talking about why.
Yeah, what little conversation that's kind of going on in the hall is more just small talk. Like people, and a lot of the people around you are doing a lot of the talking for you. Like they're asking him, how's the weather out there right now? Ask him questions about the local, gladiators or charioteers, for the various things, of which he seems to be knowledgeable enough about to be able to respond and answer and carry on knowledgeably with all of that. Finally, the food will kind of settle down, and most of the people in the room will kind of get up and exit out through the main door and kind of go out, leaving you guys, Theodosia and Sigranus.
I'll lead over to Sigranus with hand covered in face and be like, "What's the fucking plan? What's the plan?" There's a bit of panic under my voice. I don't usually do this sort of stuff. I'm like, what's the plan?
You're fine. You're doing just fine. So just try to see what he wants to start with. We'll try to gauge what this mission is. Maybe we can just get him out of here without him knowing. If we have to, we'll deal with him. But if we can, just figure out what they're looking for.
I take a few moments, take a sip of my whiskey, and then at a reasonable moment when he's no longer eating food. The distance you've traveled today, well, I assume today, to visit us, our humble island, makes one ponder, why here, why now, and why us?
Well, I'm kind of confused, I must admit now. I spoke to a man in the other room. There was implications that he was a prince, but yet you are a prince. I am, your politics in this island perhaps catch me off guard and baffle me, although maybe that is the tactic.
Oh. I chuckle. I didn't believe I fooled you so well. And if you would prefer you, I can look back like the other guy. It's just, before knowing somebody, there's certain precautions you have to take.
But of course, whatever form you'd like to take is fine. I just wanted to make sure that whoever I speak to is actually, able to speak, at least in small parts, knowing that your father is out of the country, But yes, we have been held, as has been pointed out, that we've kind of kept to ourselves for too long. And my liege would like to venture out again, regain touch with Le Tong as a whole, but perhaps even take that and expand upon it. As a new tribune should be, elected shortly, in about another year or so. He believes that us leading the way here could be a good way. Venture out, reunify the Leitong stronger than ever, and fight back against these that we have allowed to invade and harass our people.
I look around the table, judge the faces by Sagranus and Philo.
They're kind of like nodding, like, okay, just. But you probably know them well enough to know that it's more just they're going along with it at the moment and trying to get more. So, I suppose I can see this. We'd love to garner support for our liege and a vote for him as tribune, of course, in the future, but we understand you know so little of his capabilities and what we have to offer, so we figured that us coming and reaching out person to person here to explain a little more of what we are looking to do. And we've got some great magecraft upon our island, people who have delved into wondrous creations, and of course your advisor here would be able to do wonderful things too, but some of what we do can go back a long way into our history of research, and perhaps we can offer better benefits and ways to protect your island here.
Seems a lot just to give away. Are you not worried that certain of the stuff you give away to the islands may be used against you?
Well, the thing is, though, we are all allies, yes. What worry do we have of you and your friends utilizing what we give to you against us? We just wish to strengthen the union and protect the islands.
You say islands. Do you plan on visiting all of the islands in the area?
That is the plan. There are other diplomats that have been sent out in other directions, some to New Ceylon and Ninias, and the northern islands will get reached shortly too. Most of them are the second or third stops for us. I myself am aiming to go to Milas next, after my meeting with you guys.
It would be a shame to just outright refuse without seeing, or at least understanding what you plan to offer. Is this an equal alliance, or are you more the protectors of the islands?
Well, I mean, as has been pointed out, it's yet been times that we've really needed outside aid for ourselves. So unless you feel like you have something that would be of value to us, mainly we would just like to provide some resources and garner your support in future bids for tribuneship, along with, if we do press out, we have heard the wonders of your military, and that would be great if we could utilize that towards, taking back the lands that the barony has held since the shattering, or pushing the orcs finally off this world entirely.
I see. Well, it's definitely something to think about, and for sure will bring it to my father's attention. Am I getting anything from the prince in my ear at the moment, or is he just sit back and listen?
I mean, he's mainly sitting back. He said if there's information that you needed, he'd be there to provide it.
No commentary from him then.
Yeah, he's a little out of his scope too, so I think part of it, he's just like, what's going on?
Yeah.
And I did bring some minor trinkets and artifacts we could we'd love to distribute. Things like, this wonderful collar that I wear helps protect me from various dangers. It might come in more handy to those of you who live here amongst the more dangerous regions.
Inside check.
Feel free.
These collars that he mentions that I know,
Yeah.
I know the backstory behind it. Like,
there's only a certain amount of insight you really would have even needed already knowing that they are not innocuous things. He pulls off a fairly calm, composed, just like, oh, yes, they're nothing. But you can tell there's that subtle, like, if you take them, that's a great thing for us. But you also catch that, like, it's not the end of the world. It's not taken.
Yeah. Thank you. I graciously accept the gifts, and I will definitely have my people look into them. You have to understand, it would be wise to just play with magic items before knowing what they do.
Of course not. Yes, it's merely think of the minor trinkets of like a cloak or ring of protection, but this is a little more amplified. It is at least threefold as strong and very good at ensuring one does not perish even were the worst unthinkable things to have happened. I also have a wonderful artifact we could leave with you all that helps just generally protect from outside magics being able to penetrate easily into areas. They are all aboard the ship, of course. I did not want to be presumptuous as to bring them out here without your say, of course.
Right. Understandable. I'd be quite offended if you start bringing unchecked magical toys into the castle itself.
Yes, toys is an interesting term for powerful things that could change the face of your world. But it's okay. We'd love to help in any way we can. And if you need to have your mages look them all over and discover their wonderful secrets, then by all means, the metals that we use do make it very hard to ascertain from simple spells. But I'm sure one with such renowned knowledge as your wonderful Sagranis there, it would probably not be too hard for him to figure out all that he needs to know.
Well, I thank you. If there's nothing more we need to discuss, I do have a prior engagement, as you must understand. I wasn't expecting you today.
Yes, I am sure. I did not mean to take up much time. I do not know if you want to send for your father, if you wish me to stay here, or simply leave and I could come back on my way back around, or I could, wait for your response on my home.
I wouldn't want to hinder your journey to the next island, which, as you say, was Milas.
Milas, yes. Your partner to the north here, yes.
And you must understand that I need some time to...
Of course, of course.
As well as talk to my father about this.
Yes, I don't know if I'd respect you if you did not take such precautions. Well, then, with that, and he stands up and scoots the chair back a little bit and takes a very deep bow.
I'll stand up at the same time.
It's been a pleasure, Prince Son, of meeting you. I hope that my future meetings will be as lovely as this one has been. And I do appreciate the introduction of the new whiskey, did you call this?
Correct.
It's, I think I'm growing fond of it the more I try of it. It's not so bad.
Maybe I'll signal to someone to say, get a bottle for the journey. And just...
Very kind of you, sir. I will send one of my crew members to bring the gifts in, and would you like them left in the courtyard or brought here into this room or wherever?
The courtyard should be fine. My people can then pick them up.
Of course, sir. We do appreciate it. I bid you farewell, sir. Hopefully our next meeting will be as lovely as this one has been. And he slowly, calmly starts walking out. His hands go back behind his back and slowly strolls out towards the ship.
As he leaves, the sky drops. I'm like, was that okay? I'm like to the prince, like, are we good?
Yeah, I mean, sounded good. You got his info. He's leaving us magic stuff, and he's leaving. All sounds great.
I'll do a quick message to the people posted around the room. So, was it Lucian's out the front door, and Pios followed me, so I know he's somewhere in the area. Just letting them know that the guy's getting some crewmates to drop off some magic items in the courtyard. I don't know if you want to oversee that.
Should I escort him to the ship and back, or?
You want me to escort him to the ship and back? He's gone. He's left. I've already dropped his guys.
I mean, did you want to escort him, Lucius? Because he would exit through that door.
I would escort him.
Yeah. So you kind of walk with him back. Randy, you would have found the prince's room at some point and probably were sitting there getting a feed from the prince as to what was going on in general.
Yeah, I had a fear, a sudden thought that whilst all our eyes are on this hand, what's happening with this hand, you know? But the prince seems okay. Now I'm actually worried that we're about to get framed for this man as he walks by himself back to his ship. Randy is a ball of knots of court intrigue. He's seeing shadows everywhere. So he would probably, when he realizes that the prince is leaving, he will probably not join them, but he will probably walk from a distance behind, maybe about 200 feet away.
All right. And as everyone kind of parts their own ways, the Duravius, the diplomat from Hellat, heads back to his ship, and even as he's like arriving on the ship, you see the four sailors that had accompanied him are now carrying like a large crate off the ship itself and are making their way out towards the courtyard of the king's palace area there, and they will set it down and start making their way back to the ship. And with that, I think we will call it right there, and we will pick back up in 2 weeks. We'll see where the hell we're at. Now, you guys in 2 weeks do not have your daylight savings time will have happened, right? Because it's like at the end of the
2 weeks, Monday the 3rd. Yeah, that'll be fine.
Yeah, should be.
Okay. So we'll be back on our normal time for everybody being together, I hope. And then we'll be able to continue on.
Means we'll be playing an hour earlier than today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For us, Americans.
For you.
Yes.
But not
Yes.
for us.
Not for y'all.
You guys,
Everything stays the same.
as always, us Americans have to do it the hard way.
I think we get it the other way round. I think we lose it first at the end of the year. Typical Brits, losing it first.
Makes it feel better when we get it back. So.
Anyways, with that, there is a schedule change for tonight. During the game, we were messaged the DM for our game tonight is unable to do it due to some family complications that causes him to have to look after the kids and thus not be able to run. So we're going to be canceling our Prince of the Apocalypse game tonight. I think Dave's going to do a special Dave by himself Tuesday thing tomorrow.
Special guest. So,
cool.
Yeah. So
tune in for our Tuesday talks with Dave and special guests.
Yeah, we will. My arm has been twisted by the special guest, so we are actually going to be doing a little world building on the new and upcoming show within a few months from now called Back to Ballinway. So,
cool. So with that, let's call it. Love you all. Thank you, all you amazing players. I do enjoy all these weird hijinks, and hope it wasn't too confusing me jumping through 3 NPCs on a constant basis. I am no Matt Mercer, but it is kind of fun to play out and let you guys do as you wish. All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Peace out, people.